قال رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah for joining us today for lesson number 3, part of Arabic level 1 delivered by CLD. Today, inshallah, we're going to cover preposition, which is harf jar. We're going to talk about genitive case, which is called majroor. We're going to talk about detached pronoun, damir and munfasil, and mudaf wa mudaf ilayh. So today's session, this is what we're covering, inshallah. If we go through the preposition, which is harf jar, in a genitive case, what do we mean when we say these terminologies? What do they actually mean? So the literal meaning of harf jar, which is a preposition, and the preposition can be in, on, from, and to. So any of these prepositions, any of these used in a sentence, fi, ala, min, in, ila, are basically referred as to harf jar. And it's a particle of pulling. Okay, so it's a particle, it's literally like a particle that's pulling. What we'll see is some examples, inshallah, just to understand that a bit better. So we've already seen previously, al-baytu is the house, and we said we prefixed it with alif lam, and we deleted one of the dhammas at the end. So we deleted the double vowel, and that now becomes al-baytu because we've deleted that and dhamma, the double vowel, one of the dhammas, because we have prefixed it with al. Now, what do we do if we prefix the al-bayt with the fi? Okay, so the da here basically means got pulled to become a one with the kasra. So the voweling of the ta has, of the ta has changed. So from dhamma, it has changed to a kasra, which is that stroke underneath, which is what we've seen. These are the short vowels that we looked at. Why has it done that? So we said when we start a sentence, when it's a mubtada, a subject, okay, it's the subject, the predicate. Okay, we looked at the subject, khabar, subject and predicate. We looked at al-baytu as being marfu'un in the nominative case. That's what we looked at. Now we changed that, and we put it in the genitive case, which is to put a kasra under it. When we put some noun in a genitive case, what we mean is we have a kasra, the stroke under that noun. That's what it basically means. And marfu'un, as we said before, it's basically a case ending of dhamma. So we put fi, which is a preposition, and we put fil bayti. So remember, we said we won't say fi al bayti, we'll say fil bayti. Okay, fi is harf jar, and the noun that comes after it, that follows it, the technical term for it, what do we call that? It's a majroor. Okay, the genitive noun. It's the same as being called as jarrun wa majroorun. Okay, jar wa majroor is what's how some Arabic professors, especially our Arabic professor, he refers to it as jar wa majroor, and you can say jarrun wa majroor. He says both, but if you are used to that, if you're watching any other videos and they do say jar wa majroor, it basically means the same thing. When a noun is preceded by preposition, it is said to be in the genitive case, which is what I've just explained. So the house, al-baytu, it becomes fil al-bayti. Anytime you have any of these prepositions, the noun will change into a kasra. Okay, that's a rule. Okay, anything that's preceded by a preposition, the noun becomes a majroor. It's a majroor. It takes a kasra, and that's the basic rule of this portion here. So a house, baytun, okay, it becomes baytin. So if we have a double voweling, we don't delete that. What we do is, and we'll notice with the double voweling, again, we don't have the al with it. We will put that in double kasra. Why? Because, as we've mentioned, we have fi. Okay, so you have something here called Shiva Jumla. Shiva Jumla is basically a phrasal sentence. So it's a phrase, it could be one phrase or more than that. It looks like a sentence, but it's not. Okay, so this is called Shiva Jumla. Shiva Jumla is basically anything from the preposition onwards. It's called Shiva Jumla. So there's three main parts to a sentence. So we've seen Jumla is Ismiya, which is the nominal sentence. This is called Shiva Jumla, which we referred to after the preposition, anything after the preposition. So from the preposition onwards, any other words that follow it are referred to as the phrase called Shiva Jumla. Then you have Jumla Fa'aliya, which inshallah will come to at a later date. Okay, so more on prepositions and examples from the Quran. Okay, so we see different kinds of prepositions that we will look at. So you have ala, which is on, min, which is from. Okay, and that's different to what we saw last time, man. Okay, so if we say man with the fatha on top, that means who. If we have a kasra underneath, that means from. And a lot of people get confused, especially if they're new to Arabic. What they tend to do is mix the two terms. So do please remember, one is a preposition and one is a question tag. So man means who. Okay, ila means to. Fi means in, an is basically concerning or about, li is it belongs to, and be is also by, at, or in. Okay, and sometimes they say with as well, with the be, depending on the sentence you're using. Okay, I'm just going to enlarge this slightly so we can see some of our verses from the Quran. So these verses are taken from the Quran. Inshallah, we'll look at the translation of these. So the first one is Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل. Okay. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل. So here we are using ala on. Had we sent down this Quran on a mountain? Okay, min from خلق الإنسان من علق. He created man from a clot, alaq. Inna ila rabbana munqalibun. We shall but return to our Lord, to ila. Okay, so this is a common one. You'll probably use ila, and fi. Fi is, it's we translate it as in, but you can use it in many different ways. Okay, so fi inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. We have indeed revealed this message in the night. Okay, so there's many examples, and here you have an, you have lillahi. Okay, so here is to Allah belongs whatever is in the heavens and in the earth. Okay, and then you have bis sabr. Okay, ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sta'inu bis sabri was-salah was-salah. Inna Allaha ma'as sabirin. Allah is indeed with those who are patient. So you need lots of patience in this course. So those are some of the prepositions that we've used, we've looked at, that have been used in the Quran, inshallah. Obviously, once you start reading more of the Quran, you will see or notice more of these. So we will use these in sentences, and I will show you how to construct a sentence, or your teacher who you have live sessions with will inshallah go through them with you. Okay, Muhammad is in the mosque. Muhammad dun, it has a double vowel, double dhamma. So as we said, that is a mubtada, which means a subject. So subject followed by khabar, okay? But here, the khabar is what? It's at the end, the khabar. We say Muhammadun fil, we don't say fi al masjid. We say fil masjidi. You notice we have kasra here. Instead of saying masjidun, okay, masjidun or al masjidu, because normally it'd be al masjidu or al masjidun. We have put a kasra, a e kind of vowel under this noun. Why? Remember, we said if we put any of the prepositions before a noun, it becomes in the genitive case, and genitive basically means we add a kasra to the ending of that noun. And then here we have the grammatical terminologies. Muhammadun is the subject, mubtada. Fi is harf jar, which is a preposition, and masjidi is ism majroor, okay, the nominal, the genitive noun. جر ومجرور شبه الجملة khabar. So this is some of the terms that you can use. So sometimes when we were doing exams in Arabic, we'd have to identify the technical terminology of this entire sentence. So what we'd say is jarrun wa majrurun shifa jumla khabar. Okay, so this is khabar. It's part of shifa jumla. It's jar wa majrur because here's jar. Then it's majroor. This is majroor. Then these two together make up shiva jumla. Okay, they are also the information about our subject. So all of that is also khabar. So it's khabar, it's shiva jumla, and this is jar, and this is majroor. So that's just the terminology, especially of those of you who are going on to do exams. This will come in handy. Otherwise, those of you who just want to learn it as a language and speak it, you really need to know just how to end your sentence correctly. You may not need to have to identify the technical terms. So you wouldn't really need to know mubtada, khabar, jarrun wa majrurun. You'd only need to know this part. So why does it take when does it take a end vowel of a kasra or a dhamma? So huwa, it can be he and it. Huwa ala maktabin. So huwa ala maktabin. Huwa is mubtada here. Again, it's a subject. Harf jar, preposition, and then maktabin it's a majroor, and it's also the khabar. So we're talking about the maktabin, okay, a table, and we're talking about something being on top of that table, and that will take a genitive case. You have something called the damir and munfasil, and this is called detached pronoun. Detached pronoun are basically those stand alone. So it's like in English, he, she, okay? And this is where there'll be a little bit of confusion if you do not make a table. If you do not make your own notes, because as great as this table is quite important for you to sit down and go through this. And I remember when I first started studying Arabic, this was the part that I really studied well, because I wouldn't be able to construct any sentences in Arabic if I hadn't known this. And it did get frustrating when I started doing the plural and the dual pronouns, which can get a little bit daunting. So you have something called mudhakkar and muannath, okay, and you have ghaib means basically not present. So you have first person, second person, third person. Third person is that like he, she, okay, they and them. And the second person is basically mukhatib, which is present, you, you two, okay, you all. And the first person is talking about yourself, mutakallim, mudhakkar wa muannath, okay. And that's basically masculine and feminine. So this stands for masculine and this stands for feminine. And again, masculine and feminine. And here, masculine and feminine as well. So ghaibun means not present. So if we look at mudhakkar, okay, it's mufrad, muthanna, jama. Muthanna here is not the same as muannath. Muannath means feminine. Muthanna means dual, two. Okay, it means to dual, and that's when some people tend to get confused because they do sound a little bit similar. So mufrad means singular, muthanna means dual, and jama means plural. So that's what basically means. So singular pronoun is huwa, meaning he or it, huma, which means they, hum, they, okay, and hiya is she, huma, they, hunna, they. Okay, so here obviously they use the feminine dual and plural for masculine and feminine. Okay, but I wouldn't translate it as they, maybe more like them two, or them. Okay, them two and them, that would be more appropriate translation in English. Okay, but this is just what you read and what you're comfortable with. Here, huma and hunna. So you'd notice that huma, dual for masculine and feminine, is the same. The only time you understand the difference between the two is in an actual sentence, because here it ends with just an alif and here it ends with the ta with an alif. You have anta, you have antuma, and you have antum, and this is mudhakkar again, mufrad. Anta means you, antuma means you too. Okay, antum means them, they, you know, they. Okay, so they, two of them, or they. Okay, so this is where you're talking to somebody. Okay, you two. Okay, so here you talk about you two. Okay, so you as in plural, or you all, you two, and you. Okay, so two people and more than two. Here you're talking about they, them two, and them two feminine, them two masculine, and them females, them females, and them plural males. Like I said, it tends to get really confusing. I won't go through them again with you. Muthannas, so the reason why it's confusing is everything mudhakkar, muannas, mudhakkar, muannas. Everything is feminine, masculine, and then you got singular, dual, plural, and that's when it gets really confusing. So here we've done the those that are third person that are not present. So we've done masculine. This is a masculine table. We've done the feminine table. Now we are doing the mukhatabun, the second person, which is the masculine is anta, antuma, antum. Okay, that's you singular, you dual, and you plural. Then you have anti, you singular, antuma, which is the same as this, antuma, you dual, and the antun now, which is the plural. And then you have ana, which is there's no masculine or feminine form. It's just mufrad, which means singular. Then you have nahnu, which is jama, and we say we, and they are used for both masculine and feminine. So that's what we've gone through today with the detached pronouns. So these are those that stand alone. If you don't know these, when we come to do the attached pronouns, that's when it gets a little bit confusing. I remember when we were studying Arabic, we spent really literally just 1 to 2 months doing the pronouns. So it's really important that you divide them up. So if you want to, and you have to revise them, you have to memorize them. So what you may want to do is do the, excuse me, you may want to do the third person, or you start with the first person. It's always easier to start with the first person, masculine, feminine. Ana, nahnu. Okay, both male, female would use ana wa nahnu, we. Then you go on to the second person for feminine, then masculine, then third person, feminine and masculine. And like I said, you just need to make a table. So once again, quickly, huwa, he, huma, okay, them two, hum, them all, hiya, she, huma, them two, hunna, them all female. Anta, you singular, antuma, you two, dual, antum, plural, okay, you all. Anti, you. Antuma, you two. Antunna, you all feminine. Ana, I. Nahnu, we. Singular and plural, both from masculine and feminine. Okay, do make a table of this. And again, I said, please do download these. Inshallah, you can ask for the link if I do forget to link it in this video, and I will try and remember to do that. Damir and munfasil. Okay, so damir and munfasil, these are the detached pronouns. You never attach them with a word. So the other ones we're going to see is muttasil, which is attached, and you do attach them to a word. But these ones you will not attach them, they'll stand alone. So they're never attached to a word. So huwa, huma, and hum, they stand alone. They are always ma'rifa, which is definite. They are considered marfu'un, even though most of them do not have a dhamma on it. They are fixed in their case and the ending does not change. Okay, so anything that's fixed in Arabic, we call it mubniyun, okay, or mabniyun. And that's another what they've done is given you a table. So what might be a good idea, if you revise the first set of slide, you go through this one in the English, and then you sort of test yourself. And what you could do, if you print this off, you could actually just write the English translation next to these, just to test your memory, and that might be a really good way of doing that. So here we're going to now go through the possessed and the possessor, which is mudaf and mudaf ilayh. It's used to convey a possession, so something that you own or something that you have. Now here we're going to go through the, well, at the moment we're not going through the mir muttasil, we've just done one munfasil. So inshallah, once we go through that, we will talk about possessing, being just possessing something, mudaf ilayh. Okay, so a relationship between two nouns is also referred al-idafa. Okay, English uses of off or s in such relationships. So it basically means the book of Bilal or Bilal's book. Okay, so it is possessed. So the who's the possessor? Bilal is the possessor of what? The book. So Bilal's book or the book of Bilal. It's made of two parts. It's possessed, mudaf, and mudaf ilayh. Okay, so mudaf is it can take any case ending, okay, and as the need requires. However, it does not take a tanween, which is a double voweling, or al. So the definite articles, mudaf does not take al or a tanween. Okay, so we've seen before where we looked at definite, indefinite articles, so it doesn't take either. It's always ends in one single vowel, and it's not prefixed with an al. It is definite, which is ma'rifa. Okay, so it is definite but without the al. So here we have kitabu bilalin. Okay, and here we have maktabu. So again, these rules apply, because this is called the mudaf, something that is possessed, something that is being possessed. And what is possessing that thing is here. So the possessor is here. So who is the possessor? Bilalin. So mudaf ilayh. So we call this mudaf ilayh. So the mudaf, that which is possessed, and the possessor is called mudaf ilayh. Okay. It's always in genitive case, so it will be majroor. And why? Because it takes a double kasra. It can take tanween, so it's not like the first case. This case, it can take tanween or al. Okay, so it can take al, the definite article. Can be nakira, indefinite, or ma'rifa, definite. So it can be both. It can be indefinite, definite. It can be with al, without al. It can take tanween. Or it doesn't have to take tanween. Okay, so here in the second one we have maktubul mudarrisi. Okay, mudarrisi, and the table, the teacher's table. Okay, or the table of the teacher, or the table's teacher, the teacher's table. Okay, so that's mudaf and mudaf ilayh. And don't forget, mudaf ilayh is genitive. It can have tanween, which means double voweling. It can have the definite article al. It can be indefinite nakira and ma'rifa, which is definite. Whereas here, the mudaf, the case is quite different. It never takes tanween or al. It's always definite, okay? And can take any case ending, okay? So some more examples of mudaf and mudaf ilayh, okay? Examples of valid. So maktubu marfu'un. Why? Because it ends in what? Dhamma. Mudarrisi is with a kasra because it's mudaf ilayh. So that would be in kasra. So here we have, okay, so noun after inna. Inna, basically it can mean indeed or verily. Is called for tawqid, which is emphasis. So noun after inna is always mudafun. So because we have inna here, which means indeed, or you're stressing some importance on the sentence, then the second letter will always be mudaf, and then this will be the mudaf ilayh. Now, your mudaf will here be not the in marfu, it'll be in mansub. Okay, it'll be a mansub, and that's due to subject to this inna here. Okay, so anything that comes after inna, we put it in the case of mansub, and that's just a grammatical rule. And really that should be learnt quite later on once you're familiar with the basic rules. So I won't go into that because there's inna and the sisters of inna, khawatuha, inshallah we will not go through them yet. Then you have majroor one. So why is it majroor? Don't forget we're using a preposition here. So ala maktabi ala maktab al mudarrisi. So on the table of the teacher. Okay. So here we have ala, and because of ala, that table has to go in the case of majroor. Okay, and then you have mudarrisi here. Then you have this table here, which is definite versus indefinite. So mudaf ilayh, kitabun at-talibi. Okay, so in the second one, we can see here, kitabu at-talibi. So here it's ma'rifa, because why is it ma'rifa? It's definite because it has al and it has one single vowel. Okay, and kitabu is marfu'un because it ends with a dhamma. So here mudaf ilayh, definite versus indefinite. Here you have a ma'rifa, definite, then you have indefinite. So kitabu talibin. Okay, so talibin, a student's book. Okay, so different case endings for here. Okay, once again, let's quickly go through them. And normally you'd have maktubu, mudarrisi, and the teacher's table. Okay, mudaf, it does not take al, and it won't have double voweling. If you place before it inna, then the second noun becomes mansub, which means it takes a fatha, the stroke above, because it's affected by this inna wa qatwa. Then after maktab or maktaba, you have mudarrisi, which is majroor. It takes a kasra. Okay, why? Because it's mudaf ilayh. So here's mudaf and then here's mudaf ilayh. So that's two cases here. So they're different cases. Then you have the case of harf jar, preposition ala, maktabi. So here maktabi will take a kasra. So first one is marfu. Why? Because there's nothing before it. Then you put inna and you put this. This becomes a subject. Then it's like a subject will take mansub, a fatha. Then you have the harf jar, and the maktab will become jar. Jar wa majroor. Okay, so harf jar and wa majroor. So this one is majroor, and then this is this is also mudaf, and this is mudaf ilayh. Okay, and that's why this is kasra. Why? Because it's mudaf ilayh. Here we've just seen definite, indefinite. Okay, so here you have al, and here you don't have al. So that's two ways of inshallah doing it. And here, if it's not definite, then what will you do is you will put the double voweling, and look at the English translation. So what's the difference is we say the student's book. Okay, so the student's book. So we're talking about something very specific here, the student's book. Okay, and here a student's book. Okay, you know, this is a general statement. So when we're making a general statement, it'll be nakira, and if it's a specific statement, we are talking about a particular book, we'd say the book. I hope that's clear, inshallah. If not, please do clarify with your teacher in the lesson. Okay, we're going to go through the correct and incorrect mudaf and mudaf ilayh. So mudaf cannot have a tanween. Okay, so here you have a double voweling as a mudaf. So kitabun bilalin. So you know Bilal is book. Okay, so Bilal's book. So this kind of sentence, you'll understand it's mudaf ilayh, because it's talking about the possessor. So who's possessing the book is Bilal. He's the possessor of the book, which is what is possessed. And if it has double vowel, that's incorrect. If your mudaf has an al, it's incorrect as well. So a big cross there. If your mudaf is not, sorry, mudaf ilayh cannot be marfu'un. So your mudaf can be marfu', but your mudaf ilayh cannot be it cannot be marfu, cannot end in dhamma. What should it end in? Remember, do you remember what it should end in? We'll look at the last example. So it cannot end also in mansubun. It cannot have a double voweling of fatha, which is the strokes on top. It cannot have the double voweling of a dhamma, which is those circular ones or the loops that we call. It can be this, so kitabu bilalin. So here you have a double kasra. It should take kasra. It should be in majroor. Mudaf ilay should be in majroor. Your mudaf should not be definite. It should not have al. It should not have tanween. So we see that in this case, it ticks those two boxes. It doesn't have a tanween. It doesn't have an al. Therefore, it's correct. The mudaf ilay, it has a double kasra, a voweling. So mudaf ilay cannot be a marfu mansub, but it can be a majroor, which means taking a kasra. So that's a really good lesson to understand what is mudaf and mudaf ilay. Okay. So it is a bit of a long lesson, so hopefully we will continue quickly. Do feel, if you do feel the need to have a break in between, do so. Okay, so mudaf wa mudafun ilay. Okay, so even though man is mudaf ilay, it does not have a kasra. Okay, so man is whose book. Okay, whose book is this? Okay, it is mudaf, but we don't put it in the kasra ending. Because why? It's indeclinable. It's mabniyun. Mabniyun means it's fixed. When something is fixed, you cannot change it. Other examples are qalam, qalamu, min, whose pen, ibnu man, whose son. Okay, so man, it means who, and we've seen that before in one of the lessons, and that is mudaf ilay, but it is not something that takes a kasra, even though it's mudaf ilay. Okay, so here we have Masjidu Rasulillahi, so the mosque of the Prophet of Allah. You have two sets of mudaf and mudaf ilay. So you have mudaf, the masjid of the Prophet. So this is mudaf ilay, and he also acts, the name of the Prophet also acts as a mudaf to the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he is the Prophet of Allah. Okay, so he is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is mudaf ilay, so he is the possessor. So that's two sets of possessed and possessors, and those who, that which is possessed. Example of mudaf and mudaf ilay in the Quran. Okay, here we say إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ. Okay, when comes the help of Allah? Okay, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. Here, so we already have spoken about the mudaf not being in al or taking tanween, and this is all in red. Nuru samawati, nakatullahi rasulullahi, darussalami wa'dallahi. Okay, promise of Allah. Okay, so this is anything that's who is the possessor and what is being possessed. So that's how you have to look at it in order to understand it. It will be difficult if you don't understand the Arabic. So, but if you read the English, okay, the English, it will, it will become a bit more clearer what it means. Okay, the sheesh camel of Allah, the messenger of Allah, home of safety, promise of Allah. So it's always, you're looking for the off, okay, off, or the S, inshallah, the apostrophe S. Nominal sentence with mudaf and mudaf ilay. Muhammadun Rasulullahi. Okay, so here you see mudaf and mudaf ilayhi. So here's the nominal sentence. So the first one, Muhammadun is mubtada, is subject. Khabar is Rasulullahi, and this is mudaf. Then lafzul jalala, which is the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is mudaf ilayhi, and it's majroor. Okay. So here, qalamu at-talibi maksurun. Here you have qalamun, which is mubtada, sorry, wa huwa mudaf, and it's also mudaf. Then you have mudaf ilay, which takes a kasra, and then you have maksurun, which is khabar. Okay, so here's the cupboard. The student's pen is broken. The student's pen is broken. So here, broken, it's the cupboard. So here they put it here as marfu, and here, if you look here, the cupboard here is also marfu, and mubtada is also in marfu'un. Okay, so that's the end of lesson number 3, inshallah. Okay, so these are some of the examples of mudaf, mudaf ilayh. So just remember the rulings, what we have learned. So khabar is always marfu, which we've seen here. Mudaf ilayh is always in kasra, which we've seen here. The mubtada is always in marfu, which we've seen here. Okay, you know what is the mudaf, mudaf ilayh, because you have to think about, okay, what is it that's being possessed and who by? So what's possessed and who is the possessor? So what is possessed, what is the mudaf, and who is the mudaf ilayh? And that's the way to think about it. And if you look at these examples, it may not seem clear to you when we look at the Arabic, but if you do look at the English, you will notice the help of Allah, Lord of Allah. That would make it, inshallah, a bit more clearer for you. It has been a long lesson, but any clarities, you are welcome to ask your teacher in the lesson. Jazakumullah khair for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.